Welcome to Keep Heading East. I'm Murray from the YSE Cookery School. If you're joining us again, then welcome back. If you're joining this series for the first time, you've joined us in Mexico, the 26th stop on our whistle-stop tour of global feasting. You can check out the main introduction to this series by clicking the on-screen link in the cards, or follow the link in the description to our free PDF cookbook with all the recipes that we'll be covering in this series. Or if you prefer a printed version, then there's one available as well. Now, Mexico, or officially the United Mexican States, is a country in the southern part of North America. It's bordered to the north by the US, to the south and the west by the Pacific Ocean, to the southeast by Guatemala and the Caribbean Sea, and to the east by the Gulf of Mexico. Now, Mexico is another country really rich in culinary history, with food making up an important part of its culture and its traditions. The cuisine reflects the diverse landscape, the countless crops that are produced there, and its links to cultures which span back thousands of years. Authentic Mexican food apparently originated from the Mayan Indians, nomadic hunters who lived on wild game, tropical fruits and beans. Salsa, made from an early kind of tomato, was first sold in Aztec marketplaces, as were avocados and cashews. And the popular enchiladas have also been linked to the Aztecs. Cocoa was also highly prized in the Aztec Empire, where it was used by the upper classes to make a thick chocolate drink, as well as being used for currency for some time. The Spanish invasion in the early 1500s brought things with it like dairy products, garlic, wheat, and livestock such as sheep and pigs and cows, all making its way from Europe. And over the centuries, cuisines including Caribbean, South American, French, West African and Portuguese have all had their influence on Mexican cooking. But it's one of the country's oldest crops, corn, which has continued to shape Mexican diets. Corn is a native crop to Mexico, having first grown there about 7,000 years ago. And today there are more than 60 different varieties of corn grown right across the country. Now, the versatility of the crop has meant that production has steadily increased over the years, and corn is used now in more than 4,000 products, ranging from oil and paint to toothpaste and paper. And its production has risen to more than 25 million tons a year to meet demand. But it's the grain's presence in Mexican food, however, which makes it especially significant to the country. Every day, more than 300 million corn tortillas are eaten by Mexican people. And corn is also a key ingredient in dishes like quesadillas, tacos, and things like that. So Mexican food has to be one of the cuisines that you can find pretty much anywhere in the world. Its simplicity, fresh, bold flavors mixed with a good helping of cheese, some crunchy textures, always makes a good crowd-pleasing comfort food. So this week we're going to jump right into a few of the obvious Mexican dishes. Our recipe entry into the book this week is a simple bean chili. It sounds a bit average, but it's a recipe that's really worth having in your repertoire, as it's packed full of flavour and surprisingly you don't even miss the meat. Make a decent batch of it, freeze it in individual portions, and I promise you'll be grateful at some point in the next few weeks. Now, one of our favourite YouTube channels, Binging with Babish, has a great video about the humble nacho. Something that we all consider a bag of crisps poured on a plate, covered with a tin of beans and some cheese. But as we're all about making things properly and from scratch, I highly recommend having a crack at Babish's version of this dish. The other video linked this week is for the classic Mexican breakfast called Huevos Rancheros. You can't watch this next clip without being tempted to make it this weekend. So get the ingredients together, have yourself a nice Sunday morning lion, and treat yourself to Steve's ultimate version of Huevos Rancheros. So that's it for this stop on our Keep Heading East tour of global cuisine. I hope you've enjoyed it. Links are on screen now for the videos I mentioned earlier if you'd like to see a little more from the region. And remember, for our subscribers, there's a fantastic cookbook to accompany this series. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and grab yourself a free PDF copy of our cookbook, or if you prefer a hard copy, the links are there as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.